Hello, this is Michael from Base Motoring, and what we have here today is my personal vehicle, a 2000 Toyota Tacoma. Now, this vehicle I've had since I began driving. I got it when I was 15, still on my learner's permit, and I'm still driving it today, 7 and change years later, having graduated college, and it served me well. So, starting back here at the back, it's a pickup truck, so as you'd expect, you got plenty of space back here. It's about 6 foot by 4 foot by 3 foot with the shell on here, I presume, and for a vehicle this size, you can fit a lot of stuff in here. I've regularly put 4 sousaphones in here. I've moved to and from college several times with it, among doing other things. One of the nice things with this being a truck is it's just a big metal bed, so you don't have to worry about dirtying up or scratching up or destroying an interior like you might on an SUV or a hatchback or minivan. And it is nice just being able to take stuff and just push it in without a care of adding another scratch to these 10,000 scratches. And having the shell on this truck means I can essentially use this thing almost like a little wagon. One of the things I like with the shell on here is it sort of gives this truck wagony proportions, especially with the lower ride height of the two-wheel drive model. It's like you take a look here at the side, you're relatively close to the ground, and then just one big long box. And with it being a truck, you have your own cozy little area up here in the front, and then just who cares what goes on back here. You can stack to your heart's content. You don't care if it's smelly, if it's dirty, if it's wet. You're completely separated. And speaking of the back here, again, with this being the lower riding model, very low lift-up height. I'm only 5'8", and this is, just above my knee. And when you have this thing loaded down, this tailgate's straight up knee level. Super easy to get things in and out of here. It's not like the new full-size trucks where the tailgate's as high as the edge of the bed here and you need steps and everything to get up here. This thing, if you didn't have the shell, if you want to step up, it's just quite easy. And again, I'm not particularly tall, so someone who's, say, 6 foot tall, it would be quite easy. This Tacoma in particular is the step-side model, so on one hand, you get a bit less bed space, and accessories like a tonneau cover or a shell can be difficult to find. This shell, I think it took me 3.5 years to find it, and even with that, it was a 12-hour drive to pick it up, but well worth it. But on the other hand, it's a step side, so you get, hence the name, steps on the side, so you can step up on the side here, and if you had a roof rack, easily load things up. Although again, with this being a lower riding model, if you didn't have the shell, there's not really much of a need to step up since you can easily just reach over. Another nice thing with this truck is, despite it being such a small vehicle, at least for a truck, got a full-size hitch down here. You can pull about 3,500 pounds. I've towed a few times with this thing, including one time I think pushing 4,000 pounds, and it was not fun on the interstate towing that, but 90 miles it did it. One big con with this truck is 14-inch wheels, which I would like because look at this meat on the sidewall, but none of the big tire companies make 14-inch tires anymore. I would get Bridgestone or Michelin or Continental tires if I could, but the best I've been able to find are like Kumho and Hankook. Maybe Toyo. These tires have worked. You just can't be too picky about what rubber you put on. Another nice thing, this is the 2.4 liter engine, so you have lots of space in the engine bay here. This is made to be able to fit as much as a, I believe, 3.4 liter V6. So all the space on the sides, let me put this up. All the space on the sides So you can easily just reach down. You can see the road, so everywhere you can see through, that's a place your hand or a wrench can fit. I haven't done super intensive work on this thing, but at least the basic stuff I've done, it's easy. Like air filter, no problem. Stuff like checking the oil is easy. Although one of the cons with this size of the engine is, yeah, it makes it easy to work in here, but you also don't get much power. Because this thing is slow. Coming up into the main cabin, it's a cozy place to be. You've got a bench seat here, so you can fit 3 people, but whether or not you should is up for question. You only got a lap belt here, and this is about all the middle seat you get, so it would be snug. So, coming over to the middle here, now this middle seat here, it's just an seat. It's not comfortable, but it exists. Your feet get in the way of the driver and the passenger. And like personally, I would not sit like this to keep my feet out of the way. Your knee would be bumping up against the steering wheel. And then if you try to put your feet out, it can kind of work on this side, but unless you want to operate the throttle for the driver, you don't want to spread your feet out that way. And then glass back there's your headrest. I'll always take an extra seat that's mediocre over not having the option of carrying a third passenger. Now in the cabin here, features and controls are they're basic. You've got stuff like air conditioning, but no cruise control, no intermittent wipers, no radio controls on the steering wheel, just basic climate, basic safety controls, column shift, which I like, keeps the shifter out of the way, but still very easy to use. Most of the features in this truck come from this aftermarket radio I put in. The factory, it was AM, FM, CD cassette, but this thing, it's got CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth, USB, and it's been working well for nearly 7 years. Speaking of the radio, the sound system in here I've fully redone. In the doors I have Focal coaxial speakers. Under the seat I have a Sound Ordnance subwoofer, and I'm running power to the door speakers with an Infinity amplifier. So in total it's, I think, about 250-ish watts going to all the units, and it'll fill the cabin up with a solid sound. And also in the cabin here, there's very much a lack of places to put things. You've got 2 cup holders, very mediocre cup holders, a little pocket here, 2 door bins, and that's really it, and an ashtray. If you have 2 people in here going on a road trip, you're definitely going to run out of places to put snacks and phones and wallets and keys, unless you get creative. One more thing. You get a little bit of storage space in here behind the seat. I have just a bunch of junk tossed back here, but it's enough space to toss like jumper cables, a tool bag, reusable grocery bags, stuff like that. You're not going to be fitting backpacks or luggage or anything back here unless you really slide the seat forward, which at 5'8", I drive this thing with the seat all the way back against the cab, and I can push both pedals all the way down without locking my legs straight. Although what I will say is there is plenty of knee room, so I could drive it with the seat slid further forward, or somebody taller than me could very reasonably drive this vehicle. If you're on the shorter end, it would be a bit of a challenge given the seat has no ability to raise up and down, so say you're a bit on the shorter end, you might start having a hard time with visibility, since you can't raise the seat up, you can't drop the steering wheel. My height, it's alright. If you're, say, 6 foot, 6'2", very good visibility over the hood and out the windows. I think that's everything for static, so let's take it for a spin. Now, one big thing that comes with the territory of this being a 26-year-old vehicle is you've got lots of rattles, you've got creaks, the engine's noisy. it's not a refined experience. But it will get you A to B just fine. I just recently drove this on a 600-ish, 700-mile road trip. No issues at all. But on the highway, yeah, that engine starts singing. 3,000 RPM at 80 miles an hour, and sound deadening that's been very much used up. Even here, just regular city speeds, road noise and engine noise does start picking up. We'll take a couple corners up here, nice and quick, see how this thing takes them. Lots of body roll. It's an old truck with soft suspension. I can't blame it for having all that body roll. It's not meant to handle. It's not even like the Honda, where some of the suspension and steering tuning are a little on the sportier end than they are in other vehicles. This is just a lazy old truck. Now let's see how slow this thing is. This thing's fast enough. It's not going to win any drag races, but it's not dangerously slow. A lot of people like to get on cars for taking more than 10 seconds to get to 60. This thing I've timed at about 12 seconds, 12 and a half seconds, and I find it to be perfectly adequate, at least unladen. Of course, if I'm towing or have a big load in the back, the narrative starts to change a little bit. But it's not that bad. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been times I've been like, more power would be nice, but there have never been times where I felt like more power was necessary for my safety. Now, with this being a smaller vehicle with a relatively small engine, you might expect to get decent fuel economy, but what I've gotten is 17 to 19 miles a gallon in the city, and about 22 to 25 on the highway, depending on driving style, how fast I go, some other factors, which that's okay for a vehicle this age, but really nothing spectacular, considering you can get into a new F-150 and do 21 miles a gallon on the highway. Vehicle's twice the size of this thing, and you're only losing 2-3 miles a gallon. Not to mention, if you get into the hybrid version of it, then you're matching or beating this thing. And the mediocre fuel economy, that's, once you combine that with the smallish fuel tank, about 15 gallons, you also can't drive too far on one tank of gas. I think the furthest I've recorded doing is about 320 miles before filling up, and that was cutting it close. But don't expect to ever get more than 350 miles on a tank unless you're hypermiling this thing and running it down to the fumes. Now let's see how this handles some highway speeds on a concrete section of road. You hear the engine, you hear the road noise, there's a little bit of a whistle. It's not a refined place to be. And it can definitely get a bit fatiguing after quite a while on the road. And the engine only gets louder as you go faster. Like, I'm doing 60 right now, but some people cruise as high as 80 miles an hour on the highway, and also if you downshift to pass, I'm almost having to yell over the car. Definitely not what you want if you're looking for a comfy highway cruiser. Now the interior of this truck. It's your standard 90s, 2000s Toyota plastic fantastic. Scratchy plastic, all up and down everywhere. Scratchy plastic, scratchy everywhere. Except for right here, it's slightly soft touch, and there's some fabric on the door panels. But basically everything else is plastic fantastic. Although the carpets in this thing, this would have been an economy-ish car when it was new. I think this one was around 14,000-ish. Window sticker, which that works out to the mid $20,000 range today. So like the carpets, they're not the Velcro style cheap garbage stuff that new economy cars have. There's a little bit of pile to them. I wouldn't call them plush, but it's real carpet. The seat here, it's got some nice cushion to it. Now, with it being the bench seat, you don't have much of any support and basically no bolstering to speak of, but it is nice having the squish and not just sitting on a just hard surface like some newer vehicles are. Now, what's probably my favorite thing about this car is things just work. The Honda Odyssey I looked at, yeah, it had physical controls, but you had some of the climate in the screen. You have tons of features, which, don't get me wrong, are nice to have. But this is a basic car with physical controls and then your media through this little aftermarket screen. If I want warm, I get warm. Oh no, I'm getting too warm. Now it's cold. No AC, there we go. Want to smell my own farts? Here we go. Let the dogs breathe? There we go. Everything just works. Wipers, you want one wipe? There we go. You want slow wipes? There we go. Fast? There we go. Intermittent would be nice, but simple and just working is the name of the game here. Lights, off, running, on. That's it. The windows, you want some air? There you go. And then even the reliability of this thing, I'm not gonna get up on any soapbox about bowing down to Toyota and their incredible reliability. Every car can have issues, and most cars, if maintained well, will last you a long time. But this thing, it's 26 years old, mileage, it's not exceptional, it's 171k, but the only time this thing left me stranded was because I was stupid and got this thing stuck on the trailer hitch and the back tires weren't touching the ground. But it's never broken down on me. It's never stranded me by the vehicle's own fault. It's just worked. You turn the key, it starts. It might not be a nice experience, but it'll always get you home at the end of the day. And it's always gotten me home at the end of the day, unless I was stupid. And despite the age, despite the mileage, despite some of the issues and quirks it has, I still plan to drive this thing for the foreseeable future. I'm not at a stage in life where I need back seats, where I need a refined or newer vehicle. All the vehicle I need is something that just gets me where I need to go. And this does an excellent job at that. Now, wrapping up my thoughts on my 2000 Toyota Tacoma. If I had to give one phrase to describe it, it's basic, reliable transportation. It has everything you need, but nothing more. It'll get you from A to B reliably. It'll get you home every night. It'll take you and a friend or two. It'll fit all your stuff in the back. It's got enough pep to keep you from getting into danger, but also not so much pep that it gets you into trouble. Now, is this a good car? That depends on how you judge it. If you look at it from how it's treated me, yeah, it's a very good car. It's treated me well. It's gotten me everywhere I need to go. It's met my needs. But on the other hand, if you compare this to newer vehicles, or look at it like, can I hold on to this, or am I looking for or should I upgrade? You can get a lot more in a newer vehicle, and especially with some of the values that these Tacomas can hold. Even if this thing's worth $5,000, you can get 160,000 mile like '08 Camry for that money, and that'll be a lot more comfortable. It'll be safer. It's got back seats, more fuel efficient. Would I recommend you run out and buy one? If you're looking for a cheap truck, Chevy S10 or a Ford Ranger, those are a lot more affordable. But if you're looking for a reliable truck, you might not want to be looking at cars that are old enough to rent a car. But if you end up in a situation where someone offers you one of these, like I was back in early 2019, absolutely take the person up on their offer. It's been 7.5 years, and look where we are now, and I still plan to keep using this thing. And as I'm searching for a career, this may very well be the vehicle that moves me away from home and gets me started living on my own and just getting my own personal life going. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Michael from Base Motoring. Take care and drive safe.